like Fox Business.
Now let me get this straight. You work with me on this, all right, Gus? Apparently there's some buzz that we should start taxing fast food, places like Taco Bell, your Taco Bell, to pay for health care. Yeah, that's right. Since we're already screwing the poor people and little doggies like you in this country for the rich bankers, the real estate speculators, the oil companies, and say even Frito-Lay, Gus, it seems that some politicians in New Jersey figure, let's just have the poor pay for health care too. Hospitals in New Jersey and around the country are indeed closing for a lack of funding. We have to figure out who should we tax to keep these cash-strapped hospitals open. I'm joined now by Justin Wilson of the Center for Consumer Freedom and by Michael Karlczyk. Thanks, guys, for spelling that out phonetically for me. He is the owner of the Anti-Gym. He grew up in New Jersey, and he hates fat people, and he says we should be taxing all of these poor people who eat at fast food restaurants. Guys, let's start off. Either one of you jump. I've got two other. Hit me in over here. Thanks. Yeah, thank you for that.
Well, you know, the way I look at it, the New Jersey government really needs to do a little belt tightening of its own before it starts forcing the rest of its citizens to tighten their own belts. I mean, who elected these guys to put them on a diet? I just don't think it's right. And frankly, they can't have their cake and eat it too when it comes to figuring out where the money's coming. I mean, the restaurant industry has had a pretty bad year between gas prices and corn prices. They're trying to figure out how to make ends meet, and so are a lot of Americans.
Well, what I always try and figure out on that is I'm trying to understand actually, you know, I guess what I'm saying is, why are we even getting involved with the food industry at all? Why are we not just taxing the citizenry? Why are we targeting individual people? Go ahead.
Well, you know, I don't know what taxes are appropriate to begin with. I mean, really and truly, everyone needs to start, you know, looking at their bottom line and making the cuts that need to be made. The restaurant industry is doing it. The hospital industry is doing it. Hey, maybe the government should do it.
All right, so
Justin,
Michael,
maybe we should start looking at people's bottoms. You said bottom line. I say we start looking at people's bottoms.
Talk to us, Michael.
Let's get over the kumbaya approach, guys. Obesity is the #1 killer in this country, and it's the #1 cost of health care. And who gets obese? It's the people going to fast food. It's called a sin tax for a reason. It's a sin if you have a double chin.
Rather than target, say, the fast food industry, why don't you go ahead and try and put together some sort of a metric? Anybody that has, say, 150% of what their ideal body weight is, let's tax them an extra 10%.
We're already doing that with the increasing food costs. That's the best part about this cornfield, which is a bunch of hogwash, no pun intended. Costs are going up, and even in Italy right now, because the pasta's increased and the bread's increased, consumption's gone down. By the fast food tax in New Jersey, and it's called the Garden State, not because people eat garden salads. New Jersey is one of the largest states out there, and I'm from Jersey. My family's too, and they're large, okay? The bottom line of the fact is we got to do something about it. And when you raise prices, product and demand, people consume less. It's a great thing for this country.
You know, the market's not, that market doesn't work like that because the market's elastic and people just displace where they're eating. So people are eating less out and eating more at home, and that's not necessarily good for obesity. That being said, there is nothing good. There is absolutely nothing good about increasing food prices. There are millions of Americans who are out there going paycheck to paycheck. And frankly, the fast food industry is where they're eating. This is a regressive tax. It's a tax on the poor.
Justin, you're full of Twinkies, my friend.
New Jersey really want to tax poor people? Give me a break.
Guys, I'm going to do a little refereeing in here. I think that's sort of what Michael's point is, though, at the same time, is he's saying that these people are going to the fast food restaurants and getting overweight, and therefore by taxing our healthcare industry, you know, someone does have to pay for the healthcare of these people.
The fast food industry accounts for a really...
Go ahead, Justin.
You know, the fast food industry accounts for less than 10% of the calories that we eat. It's actually closer to 5 in New Jersey. Most people are, you know, the lobbyists sitting there in Trenton in New Jersey, they can afford to eat at white tablecloth restaurants and have their dinners paid for them by lobbyists. It's really easy for them to say, yeah, let's tax all the poor people to make our budgets, you know, come together. But I don't think it's appropriate because fast food restaurants don't account for very many calories. And frankly, the food at those restaurants isn't high in calories in comparison to the really bad stuff.
So, Michael, rather than going after, say, the fast food industry, how about we go after all of the high-end, really expensive restaurants that lather everything up in butter?
We are. You guys aren't paying attention. Already restaurants, the fancy ones that Justin's referring to, who he probably thinks big oil and capitalists are eating at, those restaurants are ordering smaller plates. They're cutting the steaks down. Portion control. It's happening already. And guess what? He says
and the
that
last
people
thing we need is
won't
another tax. The last thing we need to do is make the portion control worse.
Let's hit the portion control on the worst sinners, and those are the people that go to fast food. Little Johnny will get 1 burger instead of 2 burgers. He won't get 2 French fries. He'll get 1. And you know what? Then we have less death, less healthcare costs.
Guys,
Justin, are you against double chins? Okay, are you against?
I'm going to have to wrap it up.
I don't have a thing against fat people.
I'm going to cut you guys both off right there. I don't know if I'm against double chins or not. You know, I've lost 12 pounds since this show started, Rebecca. Thanks for being here. Keep fighting the good fight.